getting away from C today. We're gonna move to G. The good thing about G is it's all white keys still, so that's our next step. Let's actually start with our right hand, reviewing our C scale. Great, your turn. It's like Dora the Explorer. I hope you're talking back to me on this YouTube video, just like Dora the Explorer. Okay, now we're gonna just take that and move it to our G. There we go. G, A, B, C, D. Now that is also major scale, and I kind of gave it away. We can also make our chord that way too, because that is our 1, 3, and 5, or first, third, and fifth degrees of our scale. So we have our major scale, and then we have our major chord. Now this is called the G chord because our root note, the first and lowest note we hear, the root is a G. So we have our C, and now we have our G. Now, I want to describe what makes a major scale, because next week we're going to start playing some black keys as part of our scales. And I want to tell you why we have to play black keys sometimes in certain root notes. So C and G sounds great. But if I were to do that with E, it would sound weird. That is not quite right. It is in certain styles, but for America, now we gotta play some black keys to make it sound good. So we'll get to the E scale in another video pretty soon. But what happens, what makes that nice do, re, mi, fa, so sound is a pattern of half steps and whole steps. We haven't talked about that yet, but what a half step is the note that's halfway between, it's like the very, very, very next note. So black keys are like half steps. So from C to, this is C sharp, we'll learn that later too. That is a half step. From here to here, it's a half step. From here to here is a half step. Here to here is a half step, and here to here is a half step. Even though there's no black key here, this is a half step because it's just the very, very, very next one. Now a whole step is that, because we skipped this. This is the halfway point. So this is a whole step, this is a whole step, this is a half step. We got whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, if you recall back to a couple of videos ago, we were talking about scales. A full scale is from C to C. So what makes that beautiful do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is the pattern of whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now, you can fully pause this video to make this sink in if this is confusing. If I move that, let's say to the E, that sounds weird because it's not whole step, half step. Now the E scale, from here, I need a whole step, right? So I'm gonna have to skip this one, which means now our black key has to be our second degree. So whole step, half step, whole step, half step. So the E scale has to include black keys to keep that good sounding pattern. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now, you don't have to memorize that. That was just to explain if you were so curious and you wanted to play every full scale, you could do it now with that pattern. Now we're going to practice switching between our C chord and our G chord, and we're actually going to make our very, very first what's called chord progression, or a pattern of chords. So let's get in our C position with our thumb on our C. We're going to do 4 C chords. Then we're going to go to G position with our thumb and do 4 of those. Right now, we're starting to hear the backdrop of our song. I actually think I was playing those 2 chords in the guitar. If you look at the intro video of all of the whole series, that's what I was playing, but I was playing the guitar version of that. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They'll rise up on wings like eagles. So there you go. Now it's that simple. That is all you really need. Now, if you want to become more skilled, you could do it with your left hand. Now your pinky, again, is the anchor. 3, 4. Now with my left hand, now I'm having a crossover. So you know what? I'm going to actually go down. Now I can go to this G instead, because that's just more comfortable now that I have my left hand. And my pink is the anchor, finds my G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you understand the basics of how scales work, why they are the way they are, and you know how to play your very first chord progression. An exercise that I teach my students that's combining scales and chords, you can go 3 times scales up and down. 1, 2, 3. So 3 times, and then chord, chord. Makes a nice little song. And you can do it with G too. Now you go 2, 3, chord, chord. You can do it with your left hand too, or down here. And then you can do it up here. And the goal, I mean, if you want to really challenge yourself, 2 hands together. Now, when we're doing scales together, I don't think I mentioned it in the other video, but we want to play those at the exact same time. We don't want to turn it into that. 2 G's, 2 A's, 2 B's, 2 C's, 2 D's. So together, if we speed it up, if you sped it up, 2, 3, chord, chord, and that is what we could work toward eventually. But we're gonna do slow and steady wins the race. The more you repeat it and then you go to sleep and let your brain set, let your fingers get more comfortable. I mean, there's all this science behind sleeping between practicing that makes it easier the next day you do it. So yeah, when you practice, be patient with yourself. Don't practice for hours on end because you might get frustrated. Practice for a little bit of time, go to sleep, try it the next day, and it'll get a little bit easier every time. So there you have it, and have a great week.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, won't you like it and subscribe for me?